Around 3.7 million people have been affected by the ongoing conflict in eastern Ukraine. Nearly 9,500 people have been killed, while 1.8 million are internally displaced. Stanytsia Luhanska is one of the villages along the contact line in eastern Ukraine. It's on the border separating the auto-proclaimed republics of Luhansk and Donetsk with government-controlled areas. People surge between the two sides after hours of waiting. Stanytsia has the only pedestrian crossing in 450 kilometers of hot front line. There's crossfire and shelling day and night in spite of the ceasefire, and every morning residents assess if and how badly their houses have been damaged.
Is this a bullet hole? This is where the glass was hit. And here the glass is gone. I'll cover the windows because when we switch the light on, you can see it from outside and they might shoot in the windows.
Next door, Taisa's house has been recently repaired with the help of the NGO Norwegian Refugee Council, financed by the European Union. Nevertheless, the work is never-ending.
I spent the night in the bomb shelter. I came back and everything was covered with little pieces of slate. I came back, and it turns out there's a big hole here the size of an entire slate.
Months ago, Taisia received the equivalent of €400 in construction material to repair her roof as part of the NGO's actions in Stanytsia Luhanska.
We've managed to assist with shelter emergency repair to 78 families in this year. Overall, we've assisted 9,200 individuals.
Tanya, this is a completely deserted neighborhood. How common is it to find this kind of situation in eastern Ukraine next to the contact zone?
It is quite common for this conflict-affected area. The population of this town used to be 14,000 people before the conflict, and it has reduced almost twice.
Who stays and who goes?
The youth and the families with small children have mostly abandoned the place, and the elderly are staying.
It's no surprise, with the number of internally displaced people so high, that there is a growing need to address psychological distress, especially in children. Near Donetsk in the Donetsk region, we met some of the educators who've participated in the Life Skills Education project, part of an EU Children of Peace project here, implemented by UNICEF. Educators have been trained to use emotional communication to help conflict-affected students.
Every teacher has a chance to practice a certain training lesson, which helps them to implement this lesson at school and teach the kids. The aim is that the child could open up in a relaxed situation, speak out and maybe overcome a certain event.
Yulia participated in the Life Skill Education project last year. She's 16 and she left Donetsk in 2014. She moved into her grandma's house with her mother and her 2-year-old sister. Her father still works on the other side, in Donetsk.
I think this kind of lesson is better than a normal lesson. Here you can speak out. You can listen to the thoughts of everybody, and it doesn't matter what it is. I knew all this situation was going to last a long time. And it turned out I was right.
Closer to the contact line in Donetsk, another family has been directly hit by the conflict. Mikhailo, his wife and his 4 children were sleeping when a projectile destroyed half of their home. By some miracle they survived and have lived here ever since, without money for repairs, waiting to relocate. In these cases, international help becomes crucial.
Our
priority is the most vulnerable areas. That means the areas next to the front line and the ones not controlled by the Ukrainian government. 40% of EU humanitarian aid goes to these non-government controlled areas where there's no access to basic services. It's imperative that all humanitarian organizations have full access to these areas in respect of humanitarian international rights.
After our visit, Mikhailo was approached and supported by an international NGO that gave his family material to fix the roof. Repairs started at the beginning of September.